We started, and we won't give up until we will be there.
Mayo, it looks from the outside that you really have, changed things, because the amount of parts coming. I mean, I understand you have a different engine spec here. You had a different engine spec not long ago. There's another one on the way. It looks like you're pushing, or Yamaha are pushing really hard in all areas.
Yeah, the approach really changed in the last couple of years, and I never saw such an effort as we are putting now. As you know, we hire new engineers, but overall the approach really changed. There is a really strong interaction between the base, the Italian workshop base, and YNC in Japan. And yeah, this is an additional value. In the past, this interaction was not that strong, but things are really changing, and we are bringing more people, and we are just at the beginning.
So you mentioned earlier in the weekend that Alex Rins, that it would be ideal to have him back for those Misano tests earlier if possible, but the Misano tests critical, to get direction. I'm just really curious, before I let you go, a couple of words on Remy's work. Been drafted in, Remy Gardner, from World Superbike side. He does have experience in Michelin tyres from past years, but how's his work going?
Very good. Actually, we were surprised in Sachsenring when we decided for the application. We asked Remy if he wanted to come, because he's working well. Also, since Alex withdrew of this GP, we move him in our garage, but he's with his bikes, and because
most recent one we just saw there was Repsol Honda's. Got to say, that's probably on my podium of favourites as well. They've centred their vintage livery around Freddie Spencer's historic 1983 500cc World Championship win. Of course, he beat Kenny Roberts Sr. by just 2 points in one of the most memorable Grand Prix title fights in history. At the time, Spencer, remember, was first ever winner of a Premier Class title, a record he held from 1983 to 2013, when a certain Marc Marquez burst onto the scene.
On the other side of the Honda story, LCR, we saw with two different colour schemes, as always, one for Johann Zarco, one for Taka Nakagami. Johann Zarco sporting a modern twist on the Honda livery, ran in 1966 by Mike the Bike Halewood on his way to the 250cc World Championship.
Their tribute livery from 2003, and they have performed phenomenally well, haven't they, over the last 2 or 3 years or so. The current reference brand in the modern MotoGP era. Big favourites again, potentially, to continue this unbelievable run. They could lock out the podium for the 7th successive Grand Prix in a row here today. Let's get some thoughts from the boss, Davide Tardozzi.
I love his riding style, and I love Wayne, how he rode, and he won. He was world title, he had the world title, so he's a nice person.
So, Davide, I have to ask you about today's long race. First of all, there was some fuel consumption issues yesterday. I'd like to hear a bit about that, but Enea, so on form.
The most demanding racetrack on fuel, so I think that everybody will need to have a lower consumption map. That means that you will lose a bit of power, but I don't know the others. For us, it will be not a big issue, but anyway, like it was yesterday. But anyway, I think that the most important thing is how to manage the front tire today. I don't know if somebody will take the risk with this temperature to have the hard front tire, while I don't think we will take it. But anyway, I think that this could be one of the main issues of the race.
Davide, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, we can answer that question just posed there by Ducati boss Davide Tardozzi. Will anybody take the risk on the Michelin hard front tyre? Well, Lewis, I guess this is no surprise, but the 4 Aprilias, in fact, they are the only 4 bikes at the moment planning on starting this 20-lap British Grand Prix with the hard front tyre. That's the latest Spargo from Pole, Maverick Vinales, Miguel Oliveira, and the newly signed up for 2 years at Trackhouse Racing, Raul Fernandez.
Yeah, they're able to put the load through the front tyre to generate the tyre temperature temperature quickly, which is what you need to do to make that hard front tyre work. Aleix Espargaro said yesterday he was already on the limit with the hard front tyre, and he was in no doubt. There was no option for him to go for anything else other than that hard front tyre. But
Leslie Graham, world champion in our first season back in 1949, and in the middle of your picture there, coming to the grid, is our current superstar in the grid. They're based just down the road here in the Formula One belt of England. It's McLaren Formula One boss Zak Brown.
It is. Zach, your sport, you come from, like, you're obviously an expert. Our sport, I think it's pretty hard to beat the riders' bravery, their gladiatorial way, you know.
Riders, talk about bravery. I was up in morning warm-up watching them, dropping their feet off, leaning up. I'm excited. It's my first MotoGP since 2015. I was out in Misano. I guess the Monster, who has a huge presence here, a sponsor of ours as well at McLaren. So I'm excited. There's no radio communication. Sounds like that's up for discussion. Sounds like turbulence, air turbulence isn't too bad.
Another Japanese manufacturer's colour scheme. This is, of course, the factory Yamaha. Remy Gardner starting from the back of the grid. Repsol Honda honouring Freddie Spencer's 1983 500cc.
Let's get some pre-British Grand Prix thoughts from Michele Massini.
Yeah, Michele, just before I ask you about from Fausto Grassini.
Yeah, I hope that this livery could give us a boost today, a special boost. But I think that the potential today is the top 5 will be great, because we think that there is 3-4 riders that had a more pace than us. But we will see. You know, if we can make a great start, making some overtake immediately, we can manage well the race.
Every weekend, it looks, recently, it looks like Mark has a tough day on Friday.
That in every circuit we arrive is the first time also with Ducati. It's not an excuse, but we have to make at the end more work compared to the other rider, and tough weekend since the beginning of the year, but we will try everything.
Thank you, Michele.
Thank you.
Yeah, right, Marc Marquez.
It was too much, honestly speaking, and we understand that. Yesterday after check the data, and we know, and now we have a different strategy for today. Let's see if it's working, but also we know that Pecco will be back.
Concerns and tyre, durability, but also choice.
Well, honestly speaking, we are not really 100% sure.
300 horsepower. Simon, I know you've been having a good look at both the past and present of our motorcycles that have dominated MotoGP, and I think you found out some pretty interesting insight.
Well, I've just been having a look at it. The machine, Leslie Graham, as you said, British rider, rode this British-built AJS. It's about 140 kilos, 190 kilometers an hour, roughly top speed. And he narrowed, and he was riding a Gilera 500 4-cylinder, and the writing was on the wall apparently after that you had to have a 4-cylinder, so most people went that way. 1949.
Thanks for that, Simon. The very front on the beautiful factory Ducati front row, or a double for the team, with Bagnaia and Bastianini side by side. I guess the biggest unanswered question from yesterday's Tissot sprint is, would Bagnaia have beaten Bastianini in a straight fight had he seen the checkered flag? Maybe we get that answer this afternoon. Bagnaia knows take one split-second error to turn this title battle on its head.
Banked up here at Silverstone. Just a little bit of breaking news about the 2025 edition of the British Grand Prix. Actually, before it's lights out, a big change in the calendar for next season as Silverstone gets brought forward to late May as opposed to its most recent early August date. Your front row of the grid then for this milestone MotoGP race here at Silverstone. Enea Bastianini, the Tissot sprint winner yesterday, looking to make the double. He goes from third. Pecco Bagnaia starts second, but it's Aleix Espargaro on the beautiful black Aprilia livery that is trying to make it back-to-back wins here in the British Grand Prix. It's retro race day here at the 2024 British Grand Prix at Silverstone, and to get proceedings underway ahead of what we hope will be 20 pulsating laps of Premier Class action here at the British Grand Prix. We had some classic retro British music for our introductory theme tune. I was getting vibes of the Shadows. There was definitely some Queen in there, wasn't there? Who will be the king of Silverstone? The Rolling Stones are featured in there as well. This is Piero Taramasso